Hello and welcome to 2015 and a very special edition of the Classroom Connection. Today we look back at 2014 and some of our most popular stories. Of course, the biggest story for Marion County Public Schools was the full meal referendum on the November ballot. Once again, we say a hearty thank you to those of you who supported the measure and ultimately passed it. But there were plenty of other success stories last year as well. For example, did you know you can legally put your child's art on your own car? A project called Tag Art does just that. Here's a look at that program from our January show.
A graduate of Marion County Schools, tax collector George Albright 2 years ago decided to help support art education by borrowing an idea from another county.
Well, we saw this done in Polk County and it was a raving success down there. They were certainly meeting a need that was not being met, and that's the deficiency in funding for the arts. So when we had a chance to help the art situation out with something so much fun and to have such a significant financial return on it, we jumped at that chance.
Our art programs last year benefited funding-wise. They shared over $13,000, and this year I think it's going to be over $15,000 that the programs will share.
Much of that money comes from sponsors like Jenkins Auto Group, which gave Breanne Inman first choice from among the 60 top tags.
When I walked in, they were laying them out, and the owl I saw the owl and I said, wow, that's a really good job. I like the detail and the vibrant colors, and I think it's simple. It's not, a lot going on, and I just liked how it looked.
Schools can also receive funds from the sale of the tags.
The schools also can choose to do a fundraiser with this program, and any student can get their tag printed for, parents can purchase them for gifts for aunts and uncles and grandparents.
Fifth grade students from all 30 elementary schools produced art for the program. The art teacher at each school then selected the top 5, and from that 150, retired art teacher Ruth Dexheimer helped narrow the list down to the 60 from which the awards of distinction were chosen.
We had to pick from the 5 that the art teachers had already picked. We got to pick the top 2, which was extremely hard to do. There were excellent choices, and so that was really hard. We had to narrow it down just based on my keyword was making it pop, making it interesting, making it something that people would notice on cars, and that was fun. And I got to look at a lot of children's art, which I love doing.
She sees this program as not only an injection of cash for the art programs, but also a morale boost for the teachers.
That's wonderful. It's got to lift up the art teachers because they're being pulled in many directions. They have less time, less money, and more to do every year, and they keep going on and on. The art teachers are phenomenal.
Albright doesn't just talk the talk of supporting art education, he walks the walk, or at least drives it.
The vehicle that I drive here in at the tax collector's office, the one that I pick, which is this one, will be a facsimile of it will be on the front of my vehicle.
This program shows that the community supports the arts, not only monetarily, but also the fact that there's so many agencies that work together to make this program a success.
The latest Tag Art project just last month raised $12,500. Well, when the governor comes to town, people notice. And when Florida's First Lady comes to town, well, students get very excited. That was the case at 8th Street Elementary when First Lady Ann Scott stopped by.
Boys and girls, I'd like to introduce the First Lady of Florida, Mrs. Scott. Let's give her a round of applause.
It's been 9 years since the First Lady of Florida has visited Marion County. And a few months ago, the current First Lady, Ann Scott, made a well-anticipated visit to 8th Street Elementary. And arranging her visit actually happened through word of mouth.
I believe it started at the Commissioner for Education's Principal Summit. I was having a conversation with Commissioner Stewart about the upcoming centennial celebration at the 8th Street Elementary School facility, and discussing how we could get the governor an invitation to such an event. And I believe she may have mentioned that affair while meeting with the governor, and information was passed on to First Lady Scott, who was traveling through the state of Florida and took the opportunity to visit Ocala and 8th Street Elementary.
Scott is currently on a statewide tour promoting literacy and writing to students. She has been doing these types of visits since her husband became governor, and everyone can tell how much she truly enjoys it.
It was very clear that she loved reading, and she holds literacy as a priority.
You make me work harder than any of your other crayons all year long. I wear myself out coloring fire engines, apples, strawberries, and everything else that's red. I even work on holidays.
And the way she communicated with the children, the way she shared stories about her past and her reading, and the way she shared about her life in Tallahassee, you can tell she really loves children and she really wants to advance literacy within our student population.
An avid reader herself, Scott believes that great readers become great learners, and early learning leads to academic success.
I loved reading as a kid. I spent a lot of time at our public libraries. I know the media specialists will appreciate that, and the librarians. But it was important to me, and it was something that I shared with both of our daughters, and now they too are sharing their passion for reading with our 3 young grandsons. Our daughter Allison started reading to our oldest grandson now when he was just 10 weeks old, and now at age 2 he has favorite books of his own, and really it's really it's very important to get the families reading to our children early. It really helps them be successful in school and in life.
A visit of this stature leaves an impact on students that we cannot see yet. Well, maybe a little.
It's going to inspire me to be a good student, and I'm pretty sure she was a good student to get into that spot of being the governor's wife, and it would inspire me to do the same.
Scott is still on her mission to advocate reading, but her message is simple.
Keep reading.
8th Street Elementary is Florida's longest continuously used school building and just celebrated its 100th birthday. Well, the World's Fair has been around much longer than that, but the World's Fair at Stanton-Weirsdale Elementary only has 27 years under its belt. Make no mistake, though, because this fair comes complete with a parade and plenty of learning.
All the iconic images are there: bagpipes from Scotland, a Chinese dragon, wooden shoes from the Netherlands, a Jamaican bobsled team, even French mimes. And it's all thanks to an idea Marilyn Hughes had nearly 30 years ago.
I realized how limited our children were when it came to cultural diversity, and I suggested that we do a World's Fair. I taught in California for about 15 years, and we did something that was very, very similar. So this is how I thought of it, to have each classroom choose a country, and I thought if we did that rather than a grade level, we could learn about more countries instead of 5 or 6.
All told, nearly 30 countries are represented in the halls of Stanton-Weirsdale. It's a tradition the students really look forward to.
They love it. To see them get excited about it every year. They know as soon as FCAT testing is done, World's Fair is kicking in, and they get extremely excited about it. It's fun. It's a new experience for many that transfer in. Some of them, it's the excitement of learning a different country than what they did the previous year.
It's a relaxing, fun break from the stress of FCAT testing, but it's still very much a learning experience.
We research, because in 4th grade research is a big thing, using computers and text and books as well. My kids are presented with a scenario of their travel agent want to convince somebody to travel to Tahiti. They research travel expenses, which ties in math and being able to convert money from US dollars to francs that they use in Tahiti, and researching 3 topics to learn about the food, the language, their lifestyle, the land features of Tahiti, and make a brochure to be able to present to the imaginary family that comes in. We tie it into writing. They write about the trees of life in Tahiti and things like that. So I try to cross curriculum with it.
Also a dance instructor, Kara Brady even taught her students a traditional Tahitian dance. The payoff comes twice on a Friday in late May, first with the Parade of Nations. Led by the Lakewood Middle School Band, the classes, representing the nations they've adopted, parade around the bus loop in front of hundreds of parents. Then that night, everyone returns to tour the school, learning all the time.
Every child has a passport and they will visit each of the countries. And in order to get the passport stamped, they need to be able to give a fact about that country. So it's fun. There will be food from other countries. It's just wonderful.
The kids get so excited to be able to say, Mom, this is mine. Hey, look, I did this and I did that, and being able to point out on the wall just what all is theirs, and to be able to tell their parents these facts about a country that their parents don't know. So it's neat.
They get to visit countries vicariously. Some of our students have never gone beyond Marion County, so this is very good in that way.
In her 51st year as an educator, Hughes is quite proud of what will one day, if it hasn't already, become her legacy.
I look forward to this each year.
Assistant Principal Marilyn Hughes started the World's Fair 27 years ago, just 1 year after she arrived at that school. Well, where do parents start when they need resources to help their kids learn? We have the answer, the Parent Resource Center at Howard Academy.
A parent could easily spend hundreds of dollars at an educational store and still not get the help their child needs. The Title I Resource Center is a lot cheaper and a lot more precise.
You don't have to worry about what does my child need, because there's a form that we are able to send to the schools, and if you're not really sure what your child needs as far as area or measurement or geometry or phonics or comprehension, then you can work with your teacher and they can tell you, and you bring that form back to us, and then we're able to give you exactly what you need to help your children specifically and borrow for free.
Since Davis took over, the center has gone from a bland storeroom into a bright, inviting resource.
It's more cheerful, it's bright, parents are excited to come in, kids are excited to come in, they can get on the computer, they can choose any types of games or puzzles or have make and takes or file folder games to help them at home.
And help at home is key. The best classroom teacher in the world isn't as good as an involved parent.
Parents are the key to success. Sometimes the parents will come in and they'll say, she told me to practice math. And a lot of times the parents will say, I just don't know how to help them. They're learning about fractions. And we'll sit down with the parents and just show them how they can help their child. Sometimes they just want to come on and get advice. They just want to come in and tell me how I can help them.
Even though the center hours are reduced by about a third during the summer, Davis is still getting about the same number of visits.
Now in the school year, right before FCAT, we were very popular. When the teachers send home report cards, we get an influx of parents. But I would say about 5 to 10 parents visit a week during the school year. And I've had 5 to 10 parents in 4 days in the summer.
Because they lose so much during the summertime, if you don't keep the skills up, they'll get behind because they have to relearn everything they learned the year before.
But the most important question, is it working?
Oh yeah, she likes to read and she doesn't complain anymore when I say, all right, go to your room and read. She likes to do it. She always likes having new books to read.
I find different materials that I can use to help my granddaughter out, such as math skills and reading comprehension, reading games, and mathematic games, stuff that she can learn some skills.
They like to bring the games home and play, and they like to play games, and so if they can learn while they're playing with us, it's good.
A lot of times the parents come in and they're like, I never knew this was here. This is all free. And they love it and they come back. To me, when you have people coming back, that's the best feedback, the best kudos is, I checked this out last week, let me see what else you got. And that makes me feel good, seeing the same people return.
Teachers in outlying schools can also request materials be sent to their school to make it easier for parents to borrow learning materials. When it comes to leading a school, there is no bigger honor for any principal than to be named the National Principal of the Year. We're proud to say we have the 2015 National Principal of the Year right here in Marion County, Jane Elsperman. And as you're about to see, pretty much everyone knew about it but her.
After being decoyed to a meeting downtown, Westport High Principal Jane Elsperman returned to campus a little unsure of what was going on.
Hi.
She eventually found Superintendent George Tomyn waiting for her outside her office.
Where have you been?
I've been in Mark Viano's office.
In trouble?
That's what I was waiting for you.
From there, she stepped outside, where hundreds of students and staff were lined up along her path to the auditorium.
All right, here we go. We're gonna walk the gauntlet.
Where she was lovingly greeted by her husband, eventually making it inside where dozens more waited to congratulate her, including several school board members. She even got a phone call from Secretary of Education Arnie Duncan.
I am totally and completely overwhelmed. How are you today, sir?
I want to congratulate Jane for just an extraordinary accomplishment. And I would say that there are no good schools in this country without fantastic principals. And to be Principal of the Year in a nation of 100,000 schools is just extraordinary. So I just call and say congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. I appreciate it very much. On behalf of Westport High School and Marion County Public Schools, thank you so much.
I have to tell you, I was overwhelmed and honored. It truly is an honor to represent 90,000 principals in the United States.
It's an honor which took a little bit to grasp.
It did. I was really overwhelmed, and I think it took me a few minutes to really understand what was going on. And they were holding signs, and I was trying to read the signs, but they were all a blur, and it was really nice.
A former Marion County principal, State Education Commissioner Pam Stewart has worked closely with Elsperman and can point out what made her stand out from thousands of other principals around the country.
What sets Jane apart is that the students here are her heart. She believes in them, and she is constantly looking to be better. Not just Jane Elsperman to be better, but the school can be better, and she is going to figure out every which way that the school can be better and that the students can be the best they can be and accomplish whatever they want.
This group of students and staff, they are extremely hardworking, and they deserve this honor. They deserve. I am only here because of the work that they do, and I think that this says volumes about the outstanding students that we have and the fantastic staff. They're enthusiastic. They're bright. They're totally dedicated to the students, and I'm just happy that they get to share this moment with me.
While we often see principals switch schools every few years or take positions with the district, Elsperman has been home for the last decade.
I love working in a school. I did have the opportunity to work at the district level early in my career, and I missed the school terribly. I love the energy of the students. I like knowing that I face the future every day. It's an honor for me to be able to serve in a school and to work with young people and to see firsthand the potential that we have for the future based on the opportunities that you give students in a school.
She also impacts the future by the opportunities she gives administrators working under her.
One of the things that, for me, I notice about Jane is that she can be that principal and relate to students, but she also can train and present to other principals, and they all walk away feeling better for having known Jane Elsperman.
She definitely feels that that's one of the most important parts of her job, is mentoring future principals when they're assistant principals. I enjoyed working for Jane because she gave me the opportunity to show me something, to be a sounding board for me, but then to allow me to do my job. And she was very good at giving me feedback afterwards, but she, trusted me to do what I needed to do to make the school a better place.
Ken McAteer is one of 3 former assistant principals at Westport who now lead their own high school, and they still remember the lessons Elsperman taught them.
one of the big things was communication. You know, she was always big on making sure that she communicated, that people were always in the know of what was going on, that she got out there, she talked to people in the community, she talked to parents, she talked to teachers. You know, she always had a pulse on what was going on, and I took that lesson with me and tried to do the same.
I don't know that it's something that she taught me, it's something that she preached, that I preach to my current administrators, and I knew this before going in, but Jane hammers it in all administrators that she trains. Think things through to impact. That's Jane's mantra. And any decision that you make, anything that you do, sometimes in our job you have to make decisions on the fly, but take that time to think about what your decision, what consequences, intended and unintended, that decision may have.
I probably learned more from them than they learned from me, because every school leader, every person that I've come in contact with has built me to be the leader that I am, and I'm so glad that they've had an opportunity to be able to impact their school community. So I'm very proud of the people that I've worked with that have gone on to become school leaders. It really means a lot to know that they're going to have the opportunity to be able to serve their school community and empower leadership as well.
In all, 14 of Ellspermann's assistant principals have gone on to head up schools of their own.
Congratulations.
Ellspermann is already hitting the national spotlight with several published articles and interviews with various reporters. Well, someone else hitting it big is Gabby Cruz. You may recall we introduced her to you back in October's Student Spotlight, and her story is certainly worth repeating.
Gabby comes from a background with some significant struggles. Her dad was deported several years ago, and her mom recently passed away from cancer, so she basically is under the care and guardianship of her brother.
That kind of adversity is a classic formula for failure, but in the case of Gabriella Cruz, it's the source of a drive to not only survive, but excel.
At the end of my mother's disease, we all knew the facts. We all knew how it had metastasized, how it was terminal. All those things were facts. But she, at the end, still had hope, and that made me have hope. And if I can go through that, if she can go through that, and still at the end, at the very, very end, still have hope, then I know I can battle through all of my homework, all of the hours at work, because I also work. I can do internship, and I can still maintain like a social life and have a good family with my brother. All those things, I can still do those things because I've done harder things.
Watching her mother battle cancer has given Cruz a goal in life.
I hope that I can go into medical school and then practice in oncology. After seeing and being around the MD Anderson Cancer Center in Orlando, I felt really inspired by my mom's doctor.
The executive officer of Vanguard's NJROTC unit, she's dual enrolled at MTI and CF, volunteers, has a job and a social life.
It's a lot. I have a busy schedule. There's days in the week where I'm up at 6 and I don't come home till like 9:30. And it's challenging, but it's a good kind of pressure. It's the kind of pressure that like builds character, and I don't know, that I know I'm gonna need for all of my future endeavors.
Gabby is a finalist for a full-ride scholarship through the Take Stock in Children program. We learn later this month if she's chosen as a winner. Well, many student athletes aspire to continue their careers right after high school. But for one Denellen High School softball player, she is thinking something much sweeter, becoming a pastry chef. But nothing holds her back, not even the fact she has only one hand.
Softball players are classified by position and handedness, and Denellen High's Vanessa Hernandez is no different. The first baseman and pitcher bats left-handed and fields and throws with her right hand. You heard me right, she fields and throws with the same hand, because it's the only one she has.
I've never found it challenging because I've been doing it since I was so young, because I've adjusted myself. I've had no one teach me. Just like I learned myself to tie my shoes, no one taught me, I taught myself. So it was basically, I was the teacher and the student.
She's both a Golden Apple teacher and an A+ student. You have to watch in slow motion to really appreciate how fluidly she transitions from catching to throwing, cradling the glove against her chest with her left arm while removing her right hand, grabbing the ball, and firing away. Hitting is a different story.
Sometimes I find it challenging because when I go to bat, all the coaches ever tell players is rely on your top hand, rely on your top hand. My top hand is no hand, so I rely on my right arm the whole time, and sometimes it's challenging, but I kind of block out the judgment and try to function with my own style.
Her own style has made quite a name for herself. Well, maybe not exactly a name.
Everywhere I go to play, everybody already knows the girl with one hand. They don't know my name, they just know the girl with one hand, and that doesn't bother me because it's a description.
What does bother her is being known as a good one-handed player. She wants to be known as a good player who just happens to be one-handed.
I don't really like when people just look at me because, oh, she has one hand, she's a good athlete. Look at me because I am a good athlete and I'm doing well at the sport, not just for a girl with one hand, I do good. I want to be good compared to everybody else with two hands.
With her unique condition, it's easy to make the connection between her and her idol, former Major Leaguer Jim Abbott.
I looked at him and I was like, wow, that he's the same thing as me. Like, he's a pitcher, he has one hand, he was my idol. Most people look at like Jenny Finch, pitcher. I look at John Abbott, one hand.
Abbott is her idol, but not her inspiration. Hernandez didn't even know about him until she had already been playing for a couple of years. That is, after she convinced her mom she could do it.
She tried to hold me back a little bit because she was scared. She was like, no, you're not going to play. And I begged and I begged and I pushed and she let me play.
When Hernandez isn't in the game, she makes her presence felt and her voice heard from the dugout.
Nice, it doesn't really matter if I'm not playing, it's just being a part of the team that makes me happy. So if I'm screaming my head off, like, I contributed because I'm pumping up the girls on the field.
No matter what, if Vanessa's on the bench, if she's in the field, if she's just batting, honestly, she's there. She's such a presence for us. She is always talking in the dugout. She's always throwing, always wanting to do extra. I feel privileged to be able to coach somebody like that has such, inner strength to be able to come out and do what she does and not care what people say. And that's just, I'm proud to have her on my team. I'm proud to say she's one of mine.
Truly an inspiring story on and off the field. Congratulations, Vanessa, and we wish you sweet success on that pastry chef career. Well, we always like to end our show by hearing from our superintendent, so here he is in this month's Superintendent Spotlight.
Happy New Year from the Marion County Public School System, and more specifically from Shady Hill Elementary School. I hope everyone has had a wonderful holiday season to rest up. I know our students and teachers and all of our employees are ready to go for this brand new year. 2015 is going to shape up as an exciting year for the Marion County Public School System, and you'll learn all about it here on our television program. Two big issues face us as we look into the winter and then spring months of 2015. Our students and teachers are preparing for a brand new Florida Standards Assessment test that will be given in the months of March, April, and May. Teachers have been working extremely hard adjusting and getting their students ready for the new standards assessment, and students have been working hard for this very, very challenging test. We know that our students are going to respond wonderfully to this new test, and we're excited about getting the results back from this test. The second thing I'd like to talk to you about as we enter the year 2015 is to again thank our wonderful and generous community for passing the $1 million referendum tax increase that will take effect this November. You know, and you voted for and supported this tax referendum that will go to restore art, music, media, and PE programs in our elementary schools, help us with our vocational offerings for our secondary schools, and also help us with the class size amendment. So thank you, Marion County, for doing this. In the months of January and February, I'll be meeting with a variety of teachers and our oversight committee as we plan the expenditures for this new funds that will be raised in the next 4 years. Thank you again. Welcome to 2015. We're off to an exciting start.
Thanks, Mr. Tomyn, and thank you for joining us for this Best of show. Stay safe in this new year, and parents, as always, remember, be there for your child every day.